Howdy there, Isaac here. We left off with Raditz becoming accustomed to planet Namek, but with the arrival of Turles, will the Raditz revert to his old ways? Now, let's see what may have happened if Raditz was sent to planet Namek. The story starts now. Raditz and Mephala flew as fast as they could, feeling the powers of Maima and Sumudi dropping by the second. They wondered how someone could possibly be strong enough to beat both of them, but it didn't really matter now, did it? Raditz, for as calm as he'd become, was still pretty nervous when it came to fighting people as strong, or stronger, than him, and Mephala could sense this.
Calm yourself, Raditz. We need to keep a cool head to beat these intruders,
Mephala said, though he sounded a little out of breath himself.
Keep it to yourself, old man. I'll be more than enough to beat them. You just sit back and relax. There you go with that bravado again. Let's hope you can back it up.
The two continued their flight in silence before arriving to see 5 warriors locked in combat against their brothers. Maima was taking on Cacao and Almond, while Sumudi was busy getting pretty easily beaten by the other 3. Raditz flew in and blasted Almond away, while Mephala took on the 2 raisins.
Took you long enough. I was beginning to think I'd have to show off my true power and beat these guys myself,
Maima said, showing off the bravado he adopted from years of being around Raditz. The Saiyans simply scoffed, and the 2 took up battle stances and flew at Cacao and Almond, beating the 2 into a pulp. Sumudi was able to stalemate dies, but as the fight went on, Mephala started to slow down, even beginning to lose to the Raisin brothers. Raditz is about to go help out the old man when suddenly another figure flies at him, a tall, spiky-haired man who attempts to push him back.
Raditz, long time no see, buddy. Looks like you've gotten pretty strong. Mind if I test out your power? Wait, Turles, why are you here? Where's...
But Raditz didn't get to finish his sentence as Turles socked him right in the jaw. This caused the Saiyan to retaliate with an uppercut, which started a bout of fisticuffs between the 2. Raditz was thoroughly surprised at the strength his former squadmate had. Sure, he had always been stronger, but Turles shouldn't be this strong, unless he had also been doing some serious training. Either way, they were pretty equal, and while Raditz was scared, this quickly turned into thrill as his Saiyan blood began to boil. While that was going on, Maima knocked out Almond and Cacao before aiding Mephala with his fight. Within a few minutes, the Crusher Corps were crushed, but the fight wasn't over just yet. Mephala, for as tired as he was, noticed the sky beginning to dim while a huge tree sprouted on the far side of planet Namek.
Maima, the tree.
I see it, Mephala. What is that thing?
A tree, you idiot. Now go and see what it's doing. I can't see this being a good thing.
Mephala then sat down and began watching Raditz fight. When asked what he was doing, this was the elder's response.
What do you mean? I'm an old man. I could hardly keep up with you youngsters. I'd just be a burden at this point. Now, hurry up and go save Namek. Go on, get.
Maima attempted to say Mephala had plenty of time still left, but was quickly shooed away, along with Sumudi. The 2 Namekians made their way towards the now massive tree. As they got closer, they noticed the lush blue grass was turning brown, and even completely gone at ground zero. Once the 2 got close enough, they could see someone in Saiyan armor hovering in front of the tree, apparently just admiring it.
Hey, what are you doing here? You need to get off our planet right now, and take this stupid tree with you,
Maima yelled out, getting ready for a fight. The Saiyan simply turned around and, with a wicked smile, sent a blast towards the Slugman. He deflected the blast, though it singed his hand, something his opponent took notice of.
Oh? I don't think you're going to be much fun. That's too bad. I heard this planet had some pretty strong life forms.
Turnip then shot a few more blasts at Maima and Sumudi, something the Namekians were unable to defend against. Back at their landing site, Turles and Raditz were duking it out, though neither appeared to be very injured or tired. During this fight, the 2 Saiyans began conversing as if this was just the norm. Turles asked why Raditz hadn't destroyed the Namekians yet, to which the Radish responded that he didn't want to. They were kind and took him in. However, the look of disgust Turles had soon made Raditz wish he hadn't said that.
Wait, what do you mean kind? Don't tell me you've gone soft and actually enjoy living with these simpletons.
Turles punched the younger Saiyan in the gut, this time not holding back. Raditz grit his teeth and retaliated with a punch to Turles' guts as well.
You wouldn't get it. The Namekians were strong. I was simply using them to get stronger myself. That's it.
Raditz couldn't help but look back at Mefla, who had a slightly disappointed look on his face, but continued watching. Turles kicked the radish away and wiped some blood from his lip.
Well, if strength is all you want, we've got it in spades. Turnip and I have found a rather interesting plant, and have been traveling the cosmos, using it to increase our battle power.
Turles then explained what the Tree of Might did, this horrifying Raditz and Mefla since it meant they lose Namek. The older Namekian then stood and began funneling ki into his hand, while his people began asking why Turles did such a thing. The Saiyan responded that he was doing this in order to beat Frieza, to get strong enough to take over the whole universe and restore the Saiyans to their former glory. Raditz does admit he wanted to do the same, but never considered going to such drastic measures to do so.
Oh, come on, buddy. Turnip and I came all this way to recruit you. Plus, this planet looked pretty fertile. What's a few planets when it comes to saving the universe from that tyrant? It's not like we haven't already lost our home planet. These guys can find another one easy.
Turles chuckled to himself, but Raditz seemed despondent at this. What Turles said made sense, and what were 10 planets to the hundreds that Frieza had conquered already? And the Namekians could bounce back. They survived the Great Cataclysm after all. But could he actually put them through that? He remembered how lost he felt after learning of Planet Vegeta's destruction, and how Mefla and the others helped him through it. These Namekians were just as much a part of his family as Kakarot, but he couldn't just displace and betray them now. Raditz was about to refuse Turles' offer when Mefla suddenly surged past him, his hand glowing red hot as he swung it at the evil Saiyan. Turles managed to dodge the attack, but was caught off guard when a blade-shaped ki blast was created from Mefla's hand and flew right towards him. The Saiyan dodged, but the ki managed to cut into his side, injuring him greatly. Mefla attempted to attack once more, but Turles blasted him with a devastating kill driver, instantly sending the Namekian flying down to the ground. Raditz screamed out, rushing over to catch his mentor before he hits the ground, then slowly laying him down. To his astonishment, Mefla was still alive, though just barely. Raditz told him to stay there, he'd go get Mori, but the Elder grabbed Raditz's arm with a surprising amount of strength.
No, Raditz, I only have so much time left. Listen to me.
What are you talking about? You're going to be just fine, old man. You've come back from far worse when we sparred.
Raditz attempted to get up, but Mefla held him there.
Stop this. You're smarter than that boy. Now lean forward so I can put my hand on your head.
Why? I know what you're going to do, but there's no need. You can teach me all those moves when this is all over.
Tears began to well up in the Saiyan's eyes, but he chose to ignore them and leaned forward as Mefla instructed, the Namekian putting a hand on his cheek.
Keep calm, Raditz. Remember your training, and remember all the people counting on you, and who you can count on as well. And finally, you may be a Saiyan, but you'll always be a son of Namek.
With that, a sea of memories flowed into Raditz's mind, most of them moves and techniques Mefla had, but mixed in there were memories the Namekian was particularly fond of. There were plenty of memories of him training Nell, Mima, and even Raditz. The Saiyan felt the frustration and disappointment Mefla had in the initial years of him being there, but in recent years, all he seemed to feel was pride towards Raditz, that and a deep love for him. This, coupled with the fact that the old man had passed away in his arms, caused Raditz to begin actually crying, something that confused Turles.
What are you doing? Don't tell me you're actually sad to see that geezer go. Where's your Saiyan pride? The old ruthless Raditz I saw on that planet so long ago.
Don't tell me you've thrown it all away for weaklings like this.
Turles went to blast Mephila's body away, but the blast was quickly deflected by Raditz, who was now seething with rage.
He was the strongest man I've ever known. Don't you dare call him a weakling.
The Saiyan charged forward, delivering an earth-shattering punch to Turles' guts. Raditz began punching and kicking with a ferocity he had long since abandoned. He knew the others would be disappointed, maybe even fear him if they saw him this feral, but he didn't care. He was hurting inside and needed to get rid of that feeling somehow, and punching this maniac felt oh so good. The Saiyan beat his opponent into a bloody pulp, not stopping even when Turles began to plead for his life. Raditz was huffing and puffing, but still had enough in him to blast the evil Saiyan into oblivion. He looked Turles in the eyes and began charging up a vacation delete. The dark purple key was swirling around in his hand. It being so powerful, it nearly burned his palm, but the fear in Turles' eyes was worth it. The Saiyan was about to throw his hand down and send his opponent into the afterlife, but a sudden memory flashed into his mind. It was the first memory he had of being on Namek, when he tried to destroy Mima and Sumudi, and Nell attempted to off him. Raditz remembered that Mephila came in and said one very important thing. Raditz let the key dissipate from his hand.
No, I'm not the judge, jury, or the executioner. I won't fall to your level, Turles.
The Saiyan calmed himself, while Turles began to mock him for being so weak. But this time, it didn't get to Raditz, and he simply knocked the evil Saiyan out. He then realized Mima and Sumudi's key signatures were hardly detectable, and quickly flew off towards the Tree of Might. On the way, he went through Mephila's moveset and found a move he thought could help, something he actually used on Turles before passing. Yeah, that move would work just fine. Meanwhile, Turnip was bored just watching the Tree of Might slowly grow as it absorbed Namek's life force. She hated being put on tree duty, and wondered how strong Raditz or the other Namekians must have been. She hoped they would beat Turles and the others, so she could get a good battle. She hadn't had one of those in quite some time. Oh well, perhaps after this next fruit she could take on Frieza herself. A good fruit could give you a 10 times boost, and with her power level, she'd be just below Frieza's strength. But just when the fruits began to sprout is when a sudden blade-shaped ki blast flew in and cut into the tree, going deep enough to nearly slice clean through it. Turnip turned around to see Raditz panting and holding his hand out. Was he the one to send that blast? Turnip smiled and began floating close to her old squad mate.
Looks like you've gotten pretty strong, Raditz. I can't believe you actually beat Turles. Then again, he always was a weakling compared to me.
Turnip powered up, and Raditz could sense she was indeed stronger than his previous opponent. He tried to stop her from fighting, but words did nothing to deter the female Saiyan, and she quickly began getting the upper hand on the radish. The only saving grace was that Turnip was a simple brawler, which made sense since she was always stronger than her opponents and never really had to learn how to fight. This allowed Raz to duck and weave around several of her punches, but those few times she did land a hit, man did it hurt. Soon, the Saiyan was being beaten to a pulp, much like his former opponent, but this time, nothing was stopping Turnip from finishing him off.
Gosh, you're such a bore, but at least you did better than Turles. It's a shame you didn't want to join us, but who would expect that from the son of Gine? She didn't even go on missions. I heard she had panic attacks just thinking about fighting. Must have been where you got it from.
Turnip began charging a pink ki blast and held it up to Raditz's face. Raditz attempted to blast her in the eyes, but she easily deflected the blast. It seemed all hope was lost. That is, until Nail shows up. The Namekian warrior flew in and delivered a neck chop to the female Saiyan's neck, causing her to stagger forward, accidentally shooting the tree with her ki blast. She wasn't knocked out, but was certainly dazed by the attack, and that was enough to allow Raditz a brief recovery.
Took you long enough, but I'm glad to see you care so much about me, Nail. Don't get ahead of yourself. Lord Guru sent me here. Anything I should know about this Saiyan before engaging with her?"
Raditz explained what he discovered in their brief battle, and the two prepared for her to charge them. However, to their surprise, she began flying towards the top of the tree. It looked like she was going for one of the fruits, and neither of them thought that was a good idea. Nail quickly blasted her before flying up, grabbing her by the leg, and throwing the Saiyan down towards a Shining Friday Raditz had launched. It wasn't much, but it was enough to injure the female Saiyan, and while Raditz was tapped out, Nail was able to take her on. As Nail delivered the final blow to Turnip, Raditz struck the tree down, before promptly passing out. The Saiyan awoke several hours later, and quickly scrambled out of bed to figure out if Maima and the others were okay. Funnily enough, Maima was waiting right outside of his house, though played it off as if he was just guarding him or something.
"Maima, I can't believe you survived against that monster. You're one tough son of a slug, you know that."
Raditz punched his friend in the shoulder and received one right back.
"Same to you. I heard about Mefla and how you faced off against both those Saiyans and saved Namek. Guru said if you waited a minute longer, we would have been goners."
Raditz then remembered what all happened, and while he was still happy about Maima and Sumuri, he needed to know about the others, and asked what happened to Turnip and Turles. Maima's carefree attitude disappeared as he told Raditz of the aftermath of his battle. After Nail had knocked the female Saiyan out, he got his comrades to Mori, then sped off to secure the enemy combatants. He successfully captured Turnip, but neither he nor the other warriors could find Turles and his men, nor their ship. The consensus was that they managed to escape. There was nothing Nail could do, so he simply took Turnip over to be judged by Guru. Raditz then suddenly burst off towards Guru's without another word. As much as he disliked Turnip, she was one of maybe 5 Saiyans, and he couldn't just let her be executed. The Saiyans had been eradicated due to their evil nature, and if Raditz could save one person from that, he'd do his damnedest to do so. Upon arriving there, he'd walk in to see Guru reading Turnip's memory. He was deep in thought, as if this decision was the hardest one he'd make in his entire lifetime.
"You aren't inherently evil, young lady, but your deeds are less than savory. Now, take her away. She's to be banished from planet Namek. Let Mori heal her enough to walk, and then send her off."
Raditz was stunned that Guru was so lenient. He thought for sure she was going to be executed, but on second thought, yeah, that wasn't very Guru-like. Before she was taken away, Raditz approached Guru and asked him a question. He wanted to take Turnip with him to Earth. Perhaps on the way he could change her mind. And if things went well, maybe she could live on Earth peacefully. Guru allowed this, him thinking it was a good idea, and while Nail didn't trust this, Guru could sense Raditz had once again grown more powerful, and could handle this mischievous Saiyan. Raditz flew off in silence while holding Turnip. She was healed just enough to survive, but her Zenkai still didn't put her above Raditz. And then the two were off to his pod. Initially, she thought there were 2 pods, but when discovering there was just one, she flipped out, hating that she'd have to sit on his lap.
This was your plan all along, you perv."
Turnip attempted to hit the radish, which he easily dodged.
No, I swear it's not like that. But it's the only way we both get to leave here, and I'm not letting you take the only ticket to go see my baby brother."
Now this got Turnip's attention. So Raditz had a baby brother, huh? Turles hadn't worked out, but perhaps this other Saiyan would be a little stronger. Yeah, if Turnip can turn Kakarot against Raditz, maybe she could beat him and use the final seed she had on Earth. Maybe this trip would be mutually beneficial. But that's where we're going to leave it off for right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you launched a Shining Friday at the like button, or maybe even hit the subscribe button with a hateful Monday. But even if you don't, thank you for getting this far in the video. I really appreciate it, and it helps more than you could think. Recently, we've been growing so fast, and it's absolutely amazing. We're really starting to form a little, army here. What should I call you guys? The Isaac Force? The League of Weebs? The Writing Shinobi? We'll figure that out later. For now, thank you guys, and I hope you have a good day or night wherever you are. That's it for now. Bye-bye.